Hey, it's Michael here from EduKits. In today's video, I want to show you some of the new features for functions blocks in CodeKit, and we'll be doing this through two example projects. We have a burglar alarm project, and we also have this project that calculates and prints the area of a rectangle. So let's start off with the burglar alarm project. We have an ultrasonic sensor that detects burglars that come within a certain distance, and it makes a loud tone over a buzzer when this occurs. So we're going to use function blocks to abstract away some of this functionality and kind of break it down. So I'm going to create a new function for the beeping. So this is going to be called beep, and what we're going to do is put in a duration, which is an integer value, which is going to be our input for how long we'd like the beep to be. So once I create this, we'll notice that the function block has appeared in our workspace. What we can then do is drag all of our beep logic inside that. And you'll notice that we have this beep block up here, this duration block up here. And this is the parameter that we're going to pass in whenever we want to make this beep. And you can see we have a new beep block over here. So we can pass in the duration of the beep we'd like. This is going to be, we'll keep it the same at 1/4 of a second. And then we can grab the duration that's being passed in and place it in our wait blocks. And you can see how easy it was to get that parameter and drag it in. You can even change the name of the parameter or any of the function properties just by clicking this cog icon on it, and it will reopen the edit function window. So we have one function here, and the second example I'm going to show you is where we can actually replace this entire block here with a function as well. And we can do this by returning a value from within the function. So I'm going to click on the functions category, click on a new function, and I'm going to call this detect burglar within. And we're going to add a parameter, which is going to be centimeters, and that's the distance. And here we need to select the return type, and this time it's going to be a Boolean, which is a true or false value. I click save, and we get the new functions block. So here I can drag out and remove the logic we had before and put in our new detect burglar within centimeters block. And I'm going to change that to keep that to our original. Now, this function here, detect burglar within, that we need to send back a result from that can be used here. So we can use this return block, which allows us to send back a result to the block that called it. So I can drag all of our logic from before into there. And like before, we have this parameter up here, in this case centimeters, and we can click and drag this into the comparison block. And now with a quick bit of organization, we can arrange the beep and detect burglar functions within our workspace. And that's one way you can break down this project. Although it obviously was a very simple project to start off with, and you definitely did not need to do this. This shows you kind of the ways you can take logic in CodeKit, take stacks of blocks, and put them into reusable pieces. Also, when you're working on big projects, this makes them super easy to parse. We've gone from all of these tone and stop tone, duration, and distance blocks to something that says, on start, we add our ultrasonic sensor, and then forever, if we detect a burglar within 30 centimeters, we beep with a short duration. And we can probably even change this from duration to beep delay, because that's a better name for it. And you can see all of our parameters blocks have updated to reflect that. So now let's take a look at a more abstract example, we have this project here that computes the area of a rectangle and outputs it to the serial monitor. So something we might want to do is calculate the area of a whole bunch of rectangles. And we have the logic, it's quite simple, and there's a little bit of printing as well that goes on with with just notifying the user what area we're finding. And we might want to break that down into just one simple function. So like before, I'm going to go into the functions menu. We'll click new function and create a function called calculate area. Because we're not returning anything, we can just leave this as void, which means we don't send anything back. And then we just need two inputs. I'm going to create one called A and one called B. And these are going to be our areas. So if I put this down here, we can then drag and drop all of our logic from before into this new function block. It's really easy to change how we're calculating this function, this area. Firstly, you'll notice that the area calculation was wrong anyway because there was no multiplication. We fixed that, and now we can drag in the parameters A and B to print out our area. One thing you'll notice as well is that this message up here is going to be incorrect. It may not always be 4 by 2 centimeters. So we'll need to create some more messages here. A really easy trick here is you can print to get complex strings with a bunch of different variables here. You can break them down into multiple print statements and just turn off the new line checkbox. So we're going to say area of, and then we can put the first value. I'll get rid of that one there. And then we'll add the X with a space before and after, and then add the final one for the B. And then we'll say rectangle and add a new line. So what that's going to do is do the exact same thing as before, say area of a by B rectangle, print a new line, and then print the computed value of that, and then print a new line with centimeters on it. So literally that will do the same thing as before. And then if we want to call it, we can calculate the area, and we'll just use two math blocks for that. We can say our 2 and our 4 from before. And this also means that without duplicating all of these blocks, you can compute the area for a second rectangle. So say a 12 by 16. Now, one way our new edit function button may really help you out is if you're trying to change, let's say, the type of a parameter. So you could always go and right click and edit function, but this new button's a much easier way to do that. If you click on this, you can use the drop down to change the return type. The parameter type. And in our case, we might want to change this from integer to float, which is a decimal value, which will allow us to compute a broader range. So before, if we typed something like 12.2, it would actually have rounded it because of the integer type in the function, but now it's going to compute that just fine. And we can change the second one from maybe 16 to 1.6. And now we have a function that will calculate the area, and we can call that wherever we'd like in our program. So this is just a quick demo of how to interact with the function blocks. This isn't meant to be a kind of full project. Hopefully you can create some really cool things with these updated blocks, pulling away logic from different parts of your program and creating reusable subparts. I hope you've enjoyed this video and subscribe for more CodeKit content.